Jared Dillian. Now you know a rich guy.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is the Jared Dillian Show. Just to follow up with the last segment, I want to tell a quick story. This was 6 years ago-ish. I was flying from Myrtle Beach to Charlotte, or Charlotte to Myrtle Beach. I don't know. I was flying. And I was in the back of the plane, and there was this very loud and annoying businessman who was behind me in the plane. And this guy really was awful. Like, he was annoying. And he was talking about, like, he had his big house wherever, and he had this vacation house over here, and he had this vacation house over here, and he had a plane, and he had a couple of boats, and this and that. I'm like, yeah, man, I get it. I get how rich you are. That's great. I'm happy for you. And so the guy next to him says, well, what do you do? What do you do for a living? And he says, I run the number 2 eyewear retainer company in the United States. And so the guy sitting next to him says, you mean like Croakies? And he says, yeah, actually, Croakies is number 1. They're our top competitor is Croakies. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, this is the it's a miracle of capitalism. It's absolutely the miracle of capitalism. There is so much money out there. There is so much money out there. Here's a guy who, talk about eyewear retainer company. And he's not even the number 1. He's the number 2 eyewear retainer company. And this guy has enough money for houses and planes and yachts and all this stuff. Like, it is insane, the country we live in. It's absolutely insane. So if you're sitting there and you're kind of thinking to yourself, I'm stuck in this job. I'll never make any more money. I'll never get a raise. I'm just stuck. I'm trapped. I have all this debt, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I talk about this a lot. And people propose the wrong solution on this. And the wrong solution is you can get rich by cutting expenses. So you make $70,000 a year. And if you can scratch out an extra $3,000 a year and make yourself miserable in the process, then you will get rich. You'll get to $1 million. I cannot describe how bad of an idea that is. How bad of an idea. That's a scarcity mentality thinking. That's a scarcity mentality thinking, not an abundance mentality, and a scarcity mentality thinking. The way I would approach that problem is, and by the way, it's funny because I was just in Nashville. And I have a friend who's an attorney. He's a young attorney. He just graduated from law school. He did the worst personal finance thing you can possibly do. He went to a second-tier law school, and he has $160,000 in student loans, and he's getting paid $54,000 a year. Now, he has some opportunities. But the point that I was trying to make to him is that you have to make the pie bigger. You have to make the pie bigger. That is the only way out, okay? That you cannot cut your expenses and get your way out of this debt. You have to make the pie bigger. So in his case, he's in litigation and he can take on some big cases and stuff like that and make some money. He's an attorney. That's what he does. What I'm saying is for the average person out there who's in a job that makes 50, 60, 70,000 a year and says, I'm trapped. I can't. You're not trapped. Go and start the second biggest eyewear retainer company in America. Go and start that. It's not that hard. The guy sitting behind me on the plane wasn't that smart. Like, there's plenty of dumb people in business. Actually, I would say, I would say the smartest people are sitting on the sidelines, just watching people in business make money. Like, it's bizarre. All business is, and this may seem scary, it's not. It's really not scary. If you can solve problems, you can be in business. And the people who are really, really good at business are really, really good problem solvers. That's what it is. Think about it. If I wear retainers, so how do you manufacture it? Is it being manufactured in the U.S.? Okay, you have to buy a facility, a warehouse or a factory or something like that. You take out a loan to do this. You have to buy equipment. The equipment has to be specially made. I mean, it's just solving problems. Now, these sound like super hard problems, but you just do it. And if you have some experience in manufacturing, then that helps. But if you don't, you figure it out. You know, you learn so much in business as you solve these problems. So just this idea that you can just cut your way out, you know, like this whole millionaire next door thing where it's just like, okay, you're going to get to $1 million by cutting 25 cents at a time. It is absolutely the worst advice that you can possibly give. Well, the advice I would rather give people is how to start a business. Maybe I should do that and put that on the website. Just have a guide for how to start a business. I can't give you good ideas. You know, I'm not responsible for the ideas, but I can tell you the mechanics of how to start a business. A little sneak preview. It's not that hard. I did it. Believe it or not, I don't have like any kind of business mind. I don't. I'm not like some kind of business guru. Like I'm more like a content creator. I'm sort of artistic. I'm like an artist. I just create this content and I get paid for creating this content. It's a pretty straightforward business. The business aspect of it, like marketing and stuff like that, I suck at. I'm terrible, which is another thing. Like, I'm really not that talented. And, you know, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm seriously. So, yeah. And a lot of it is self-esteem. A lot of it is just the idea. First of all, you have to think that I am worth it. How many people out there do you think they think to themselves, I am worth $1 million a year? How many do you think that? Do you think that you are worth $1 million a year? And you might say, well, you know, that's not how we define the worth of a human being and whatever. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that it is, right? Like, are you worth $1 million a year? You know? Because if you don't think that you are, then you're not going to get there. I don't want to give you like this hippy-dippy, like self-help crap, but that really is a part of it. You know, when I was back when I was 25 years old, and I read this book about Wall Street and how to get a job on Wall Street, and there was a table of how much people get paid on Wall Street. Okay, and it said that if you work on Wall Street for 4 to 6 years, you can get paid like $600,000 a year or something like that. And I said, I can do that. I can do that. And I did it, you know? So, yeah, I mean, look, the one thing about business is that if you have a bad idea, I've seen there's some bad ideas out there. If you have a bad idea, you can't really make a bad idea succeed. But the idea is really just like a small part of it. The idea for what kind of business you are, it's not the important part. The important part is the execution. Okay, so you can make a bad idea work with good execution. You know, I'm kind of watching a business in being created right now, and I'm a little concerned about the execution. So, man, it gets me fired up. It gets me absolutely fired up. Because anybody can do this in this country, and you know what's funny is there's something about the climate of the United States. There's something about this country when people talk about America and they talk about what makes America different. What makes America different is that this attitude only exists here. It exists nowhere else in the world. And part of the reason is we allow people to succeed exponentially. You know what's funny is, if you've been paying attention to Tesla stock, right? So Tesla was trading $180 a share, and now it's trading $780 a share. It's this giant short squeeze, and it's just absolutely amazing. Elon Musk, he's a very sharp guy. Now he is worth like $35 billion. Okay. This type of thing only happens in the United States, and this is a feature and not a bug of capitalism. The fact that we have just like people with gross amounts of money is absolutely a feature of what is happening in the United States. I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show.
The Jared Dillian Show.